Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you are in this world. God bless you. Oh, God bless you richly. I can't wait till he gets here. But we got some mountains to climb. That's why we prepare. That's why we just stay in his word. That's why we keep praying, and that's why we keep trying, and that's why we keep repenting. He is at the door. Today we're going to be continuing in the book of Jasher in the complete Apocrypha, chapter 32. And at that time Jacob sent messengers to his brother Esau toward the land of Seir, and he spoke to him words of supplication. And he commanded them, saying, Thus will you say to my lord, to Esau, Thus says your servant Jacob, Let not my lord imagine that my father's blessing, with which he did bless me, has proven beneficial to me. For I have been these 20 years with Laban, and he deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, as it has all been already told unto my lord. And I served him in his house very laboriously. And God afterward saw my affliction, my labor in the work of my hands, and he caused me to find grace and favor in his sight. And afterward, through God's great mercy and kindness, acquired oxen and asses and cattle, and men servants and maid servants. And now I am coming to my land, and my home to my father and mother, who were in the land of Canaan, and I have sent to let my Lord know all this in order to find favor in the sight of my Lord, so that he may not imagine that I have of myself obtained wealth, or that the blessing with which my father blessed me has benefited me. And those messengers went to Esau and found him on the borders of the land of Edom, going toward Jacob. And 400 men of the children of Seir the Horite were standing with drawn swords. And the messengers of Jacob told Esau all the words that Jacob had spoken to them concerning Esau. And Esau answered them with pride and contempt, and said unto them, Surely I have heard, and truly it has been told unto me, what Jacob has done to Laban, who exalted him in his house, and gave him his daughters for wives. And he begot sons and daughters, and abundantly increased in wealth and riches in Laban's house through his means. And when he saw that his wealth was abundant and his riches great, he fled with all belonging to him from Laban's house. And he led Laban's daughters away from the face of their father, as captives taken by the sword, without telling him of it. And not only to Laban has Jacob thus done, but also unto me has he done so, and has twice supplanted me. And will I be silent? Now therefore I have this day come with my camps to meet him, and I will do unto him according to the desire of my heart. And the messengers returned and came to Jacob and said unto him, We came to your brother to Esau, and we told him all your words. And thus has he answered us, and behold, he comes to meet you with 400 men. Now then know and see what you will do, and pray before God to deliver you from him. And when he heard the words of his brother, which he had spoken to the messengers of Jacob, Jacob was greatly afraid, and he was distressed. And Jacob prayed to the Lord his God, and he said, O Lord God of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, you did say unto me when I went away from my father's house, saying, I am the Lord your God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. Unto you do I give this land, and you, your seed after you. I will make your seed as the stars of heaven, and you will spread out to the 4 sides of heaven. and in you and in your seed will all the families of the earth be blessed. And you did establish your words, and did give unto me riches and children and cattle. As the utmost wishes of my heart did you give unto your servant. You did give unto me all that I asked from you, so that I lacked nothing. And you did afterward say unto me, Return to your parents and to your birthplace, and I will still do well with you. And now that I have come, and you did deliver me from Laban, I will fall into the hands of Esau, who will slay me, yea, together with the mothers of my children. Now therefore, O Lord God, deliver me, I pray you, also from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am greatly afraid of him. And if there is no righteousness in me, do it for the sake of Abraham and my father Isaac, for I know that through kindness and mercy have I acquired this wealth. Now therefore I implore you to deliver me this day with your kindness and to answer me. And Jacob ceased praying to the Lord, and he divided the people that were with him with the flocks and cattle into 2 camps. And he gave the half to the care of Damasek, the son of Eliezer, Abraham's servant, for a camp with his children, and the other half he gave to the care of his brother Elianus, the son of Eleazar, to be for a camp with his children. And he commanded them, saying, Keep yourselves at a distance with your camps, and do not come too near. Do not come too near to each other. And if Esau come to one camp and slay it, the other camp at a distance from it will escape him. And Jacob tarried there that night. And during the whole night he gave his servants instructions concerning the forces and his children. And the Lord heard the prayer of Jacob on that day. And the Lord then delivered Jacob from the hands of his brother Esau. And the Lord sent 3 angels of the angels of heaven, and they went before Esau and came to him. And these angels appeared unto Esau and his people as 2,000 men, riding upon horses, furnished with all sorts of war instruments. And they appeared in the sight of Esau and all his men, to be divided into 4 camps, with 4 chiefs to them. And one camp went on, and they found Esau coming with 400 men toward his brother Jacob. And his camp ran toward Esau and his people and terrified them. And Esau fell off the horse in alarm, and all his men separated from him in that place, for they were greatly afraid. And the whole of the camp shouted after them when they fled from Esau. And all the warlike men answered, saying, Surely we are the servants of Jacob, who is the servant of God. And who then can stand against us? And Esau said unto one of them, O then, my lord and my brother Jacob is your lord, whom I have not seen for these 20 years, and now I have this day come to see him. Do you treat me in this manner? And the angels answered him, saying, As the Lord lives, were not Jacob of whom you speak your brother, we had not let one remaining from you and your people, but on account of Jacob we will do nothing to them. And this camp passed from Esau and his men, and it went away. And Esau and his men had gone from them about a league, when the second camp came toward him with all sorts of weapons. And they also did unto Esau and his men as the first camp had done to them. And when they had left it to go on, behold, the third camp came toward him, and they were all terrified. And Esau fell off the horse, and the whole camp cried out and said, Surely we are the servants of Jacob, who is the servant of God, and who can stand against us? And Esau again answered them, saying, Oh, then Jacob my lord and your lord is my brother, and for 20 years I have not seen his countenance, And hearing this day that he was coming, I went I went this day to meet him. And do you treat me in this manner? And they answered him and said unto him, As the Lord lives, were not Jacob your brother, as you did say? We had not left a remnant from you and your men. But on account of Jacob, of whom ye speak, being your brother, we will not meddle with you or your men. And the third camp also passed from them. And he still continued on his road with his men toward Jacob. When the fourth camp came toward him, and they also did unto him, and his men as the others had done. And when Esau beheld the evil which the four angels had done to him, and to his men, he became greatly afraid of his brother Jacob. And he went to meet him in peace. And Esau concealed his hatred against Jacob, because he was afraid of his life against Jacob. Esau concealed his hatred against Jacob because he was afraid of his life on account of his brother Jacob, and because he imagined that the four camps that he had lighted upon were Jacob's servants. And Jacob tarried that night with his servants in their camps. And he resolved with his servants to give unto Esau a present from all that he had with him, and from all his property. And Jacob rose up in the morning, he and his men, and they chose from among the cattle a present for Esau. And this is the amount of the present which Jacob chose from his flock to give unto his brother Esau. And he selected 240 head from the flocks. And he selected from the camels and asses 30 each. And of the herds he chose 50 kine. And he put them all in 10 droves. And he placed each sort by itself. And he delivered them into the hands of 10 of his servants, and each drove by itself. And he commanded them and said unto them, Keep yourselves at a distance from each other, and put space between the droves. And when Esau and those who are with him will meet you and ask you, saying, Who are you, and where do you go? And to whom belong all this before you? You will say unto them, We are the servants of Jacob, and we come to meet Esau in peace. And behold, Jacob comes behind us. And that which is before us is a present sent from Jacob to his brother Esau. And if they will say unto you, Why does he delay behind you from coming to meet his brother and to see his face? Then you will say unto them, Surely he comes joyfully behind us to meet his brother, for he said, I will appease him with the present that goes to him, and after this I will see his face. Perhaps he will accept me. So the whole present passed on in the hands of his servants, and went before him on that day. And he lodged that night with his camps by the border of the brook Jabbok. And he rose up in the midst of the night, and he took his wives and his maid servants, and all belonging to him. And he that night passed over the fort Jabbok. And when he had passed all belonging to him over the brook, Jacob was left by himself. And a man met him, and he wrestled with him that night until the breaking of the day, and hallow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint through wrestling with him. And at the break of day the man left Jacob there, and he blessed him and went away. And Jacob passed the brook at the break of day, and he halted upon his thigh. And the sun rose upon him when he had passed the brook, and he came up to the place of his cattle and children, and they went on until midday. And while they were going, the present was passing on before them. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was at a distance, coming along with many men, about 400. And Jacob was greatly afraid of his brother. And Jacob hasted and divided his children unto his wives, and his handmaids, and his daughter Diana he put in a chest, and delivered her into the hands of his servants. And he passed before his children and wives to meet his brother, and he bowed down to the ground. He bowed down 7 times until he approached his brother. And God caused Jacob to find grace and favor in the sight of Esau and his men, for God had heard the prayer of Jacob. And the fear of Jacob and his terror fell upon his brother Esau, for Esau was greatly afraid of Jacob, for what the angels of God had done to Esau. And Esau's anger against Jacob turned into kindness. And when Esau saw Jacob running toward him, he also ran toward him, and he embraced him and fell on his neck, and they kissed and wept. And God put fear and kindness toward Jacob in the hearts of the men that came with Esau, and they also kissed Jacob and embraced him. And also Eliphaz, the son of Esau, whom his 4 brothers, sons of Esau, wept with Jacob, and they kissed him and embraced him, for the fear of Jacob had fallen upon them all. And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women with their offspring, the children of Jacob, walking behind Jacob and bowing along the road to Esau. And Esau said unto Jacob, Who are these with you, my brother? Are they your children or your servants? And Jacob answered Esau and said, They are my children which God has graciously given to your servant. And while Jacob was speaking to Esau and his men, Esau beheld the whole camp, and he said unto Jacob, From where did you get the whole of the camp that I met last night? And Jacob said, To find favor in the sight of my Lord, it is that which God graciously gave to your servant. And the present came before Esau, and Jacob pressed Esau, saying, Take, I pray you, the present that I have brought to you, my lord. And Esau said, Why is this my purpose? Keep that which you have unto yourself. And Jacob said, It is incumbent upon me to give all this, since I have seen your face, that you still live in peace. And Esau refused to take the present. And Jacob said unto him, I implore you, my lord, if now I have found favor in your sight, then receive my present at my hand, for I have therefore seen your face, as though I had seen a godlike face, because you were pleased with me. And Esau took the present, and Jacob also gave unto Esau silver and gold and bdellium, for he pressed him so much that he took them. And Esau divided the cattle that were in the camp, and he gave the half to the men who had come with him, for they had come on hire. The other half he delivered unto the hands of his children. And the silver and gold and bdellium he gave in the hand of Eliphaz his eldest son. And Esau said unto Jacob, Let us remain with you, and we will go slowly along with you until you come to my place with me, that we may dwell here together. And Jacob answered his brother and said, I will do as my Lord speaks unto me, but my Lord knows that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with their young, who are with me, go but slowly, for if they went swiftly, they would all die. For you know their burdens and their fatigue. Therefore let my Lord pass on before his servant, and I will go slowly for the sake of the children and the flock, until I come to my Lord's place to Seir. And Esau said unto Jacob, I will place with you some of the people that are with me to take care of you in the road, and to bear your fatigue and burden. And he said, What need is there of that, my Lord, if I find grace in your sight? Behold, I will come unto you to Seir, to dwell there together as you have spoken. Go you then with your people, for I will follow you. And Jacob said this to Esau in order to remove Esau and his men from him, so that Jacob might go to his father's house to the land of Canaan. And Esau hearkened to the voice of Jacob, And Esau returned with his 400 men that were with him on their road to Seir. And Jacob and all belonging to him went that day as far as the extremity of the land of Canaan in its border, and he remained there some time. Such a good story. And as always, I love you.